Targeting kat sini, social, ways of life, demographic structure, social inclusions and cohesions, health consciousness, population growth. What else can we include in social as a factor? Can education be part of social factor? Can education can be part of social factor, because the level of your education will determine whether you are more accepting of a new technology ataupun tidak, whether it is easier for us to introduce new technology ataupun tidak, kan. And technological factors, rates of technological progress, pace of innovation diffusion, pace of technology incentives, technology life cycle. Some technology has more faster shorter life cycle compared to others, so it affects the technology development, because the shorter the life cycle, the more fast paced that technological development is. Make sense, kan? So the rate of diffusion, the rate of technological changes will be higher if the technology life cycle is shorter. Contohnya AI sekarang ni, we can see AI can be used in many applications, and the rate at which AI is developed is faster compared to older technology, kan? And so for each of these STEEPV dimensions, you can think of many areas atau many factors that can be used to describe the dimension. And I think that is what makes STEEPV analysis more difficult for students, not only for students but for us as well as a researcher, because we have to make sense all of the information that we get through articles, through videos that we watch, through articles, interview articles that we read, for example. We have to make sense of all the things that are related to the topic and to determine where they fall into, whether they are related to social factor, technological factor, economic factor, environment factor, political dan sebagainya. So that is the hardest bit of STEEPV analysis. Once you get used to identifying the statement, and you know how to categorize them, you know how to make sense of that statement, then you will not have much problem in STEEPV analysis. So one STEEPV analysis should be used times of uncertainty, when we have too much information. We have to make sense of what is going to happen in the future, and we need to assess how that information, how that the current situation will impact our future. And times of information overload, when we have too much data, so we need to categorize it, make sense of it by categorizing into the STEEPV categories. So we only consider the ones that are relevant, and we discard the ones that are outdated and irrelevant. And times of disorganization, so meaning when we have too much information, we have to consider so many factors. So we use STEEPV analysis to make sure that we consider the ones that are the most important ataupun the ones that are relevant to the topic that we are studying. And how can we apply STEEPV analysis? Basically, we can divide it into 5 steps. The first one is where we understand the elements of the environments being analyzed, and we assess the interrelationship between trends, issues, and challenges in the environment that we analyze. And then we identify the driver behind each of the interrelationship between trends, issues, and challenges. So these are the things that we do in PSM 1. And the next step, where we use the result of STEEPV analysis to focus future directions and also to derive implications, is during PSM 2. Okay, so the first one, understand the elements of environment being analyzed. So the questions that we need to ask ourselves at the first step is, what are the current key trends, issues, and challenges within the environment? So if you are studying about hydrogen car, if you're studying about lab-grown meat, for example, so what are the issues? Issues may be issues that are related to the social factors, technological factors, environmental factors. So you need to identify the current trends, issues, and challenges within the environment related to electric car, hydrogen car, lab-grown meat. Yang kedua, what is the evidence supporting the existence of the TICs ataupun trends, issues, and challenges? So these are basically the ones that you identify through your literature review, and where you arrange the literature, the evidence according to the STEEPV factors. And once we have gathered all the information, we need to also think about the nature and degree of change or turbulence within the TIS, whether they will cause major change to the industry in the future. It will cause major social upheaval in the future. So we need to determine whether the degree of change or the nature of change too will is high ataupun low, because that will determine whether the factors are important ataupun relevant for our study. Because once you nanti bila you dah buat STEEPV analysis tu, then you yourself will be able to see why this is important, because you will get maybe 50, 60 or more than statements, that are a lot of statements, but we need to make sure that we choose only the most important ataupun relevant statements sahaja berdasarkan kepada the nature and degree of change or turbulence that they will cause in the future adoptions or application developments of a certain technology, and what kinds of impacts do the trends, issues, and challenges have on that technology, on the future developments or the future use of that technology. So the higher the impact, the higher the degree of change that it will cause, then the more relevant they are to our study. Nak tahu dia penting atau tak penting, mungkin we have to look at how many authors, how many articles mentioned about this specific ataupun particular factor. If there are many articles mentioned about it, then maybe they are important, so we need to consider the ones that are less mentioned, and we can consider them as not that relevant to our study. So that is one way we could determine the nature and degree of importance of each of the trend, issues, and challenges for the first study, where we are just trying to understand the elements of the environment that we are analyzing. Okay, so contoh, if we read a paper and we found this statement: thousands of people die in motor vehicle crashes every year in the United States, more than 30,000 in 2015. Self-driving vehicles could hypothetically reduce number, where software could prove to be less error-prone than humans, but cybersecurity is still a chief concern. So this is basically a statement related to autonomous car, self-driving vehicle, the future of self-driving vehicle. So if we look at this one sentence, this is only one factor, one sentence, but there are many STEEPV dimensions, STEEPV elements that are embedded and included and considered in this one sentence. So contohnya, thousands of people die in motor vehicle crashes. So this is basically a social factor. Obviously, it is a social factor because too many people die because of accidents, and we need to do something about this, because otherwise it means that our roads are not safe. So if we keep on ignoring this problem, in the future, we will have more people dying because of the accidents, road accidents. So we need to do something. So obviously it is related to social factors. Can it be related to values? Value, something that we consider as life. People's life is important, kan? And can it also be related to values in terms of culture? Why so many accidents occur? And political, what are being done to make sure that road accidents are reduced? So can we consider this small statement? Thousands of people die in motor vehicle crashes every year as a statement that is related to social values and political. The answer is it is up to you. It is up to you, because we can make connections, and we have to make connections between what we read in the statement with the reality behind each of the statement. If you want to go deeper and see the relationship deeper, you can. Obviously, it is related to social factor because it involves safety. But behind safety, what have been done to make sure that people are safe when they are on the road? And how about us as a road user? What do we feel important when we use the road? Our safety, kan? So the other example is self-driving vehicles could hypothetically reduce the number, meaning reduce the number of people dying because of accidents. So it is related to technology, and the technology is specifically a software that could prove to be less error prone than humans. So software is obviously a technology. We have to use a technology that could help us drive better, that could help us avoid accidents, that could help us reduce error caused by humans. Okay, and if we look at the perkataan error prone than human, less error prone than humans, it can be viewed from different perspective. Contohnya teknologi, social, economy. Contohnya kenapa economy? It's about less accident, less money are spent on healthcare. Contohnya, less money are spent untuk baiki jalan raya because of all the kerosakan yang berlaku akibat accident tersebut. And if you look, for example, kataan cybersecurity, the cybersecurity factor is immediately related to technology. But behind that technology, there is also a social factor, kan? Social issues related to the security of the road users when they are using the technology, when they are using self-driving vehicles. So what I'm trying to say is that bila kita when we read certain statements related to the technology that we that you study in your PSM project, you can directly interpret, ataupun you can directly determine where it falls under each of these STEEPV factor. And at the same time, you could also find meaning behind the statement from different perspective. Like it can be seen from social perspective, value systems of political perspective, technological perspective, or any of these STEEPV factors that you use in your PSM project. Another example, self-driving technology could help mobilize individuals who are unable to drive themselves, such as the elderly or disabled. So mobilize individuals is obviously a social factor, because self-driving could help people who are not able to move by themselves to be mobile, to take themselves to the location that they want to go, especially people that are enabled, such as elderly and ataupun disabled. And so that is a social factor. But the widespread adoption of autonomous vehicle could also displace millions of Americans employed as drivers. So this is an issue ataupun challenges related to self-driving adoption. It could displace millions of Americans employed as drivers. So in terms of these factors, it can be seen from economic point of view. It can also be seen from social point of view, because when people lose their job, they are basically losing their income. And when they don't have incomes, then their quality of life, their well-being will be affected. So that is related to social factors. So one statement can be viewed from different perspectives. And in fact, when you do the STEEPV table, the same statement can be placed in different STEEPV factor too. Meaning you can repeat the same statement in different STEEPV factors. Okay, so after you read like 20, 50 articles, 60 or 100 articles, you will finally come up with a list of issues, trends and challenges of a particular technology. And the example that I'm giving here is related to the social factor in STEEPV. Okay, so you have issues, trends and challenges. So you just list all the statements here, and you highlight the key term that can summarize what the statement is about, and then you provide the source. It is important to provide the source for each of the statement that you find in STEEPV analysis in your literature. And for social issue, trends and challenges, you might find maybe 20 statements. For technology, maybe you find 30 or 50 statements. Some factor maybe political or apa lagi, environmental, ataupun it depends on the topic that you are studying. Some factor may have more statement compared to the others. It's not a problem because it depends on how many papers that you read, and it depends on how efficient you are ataupun how good you are in selecting and in identifying the relevant statements related to the issues, trends and challenges for the topic that you choose for your PSM project. The most important is we want to, as a supervisor, as a panel, I want to see the issues, trends and challenges, and I want to know the key term for each of the issues, trends and challenges too, because later the key terms here are the ones that you are going to summarize in the summary of trends, issues and challenges of the technology that you study. So before you can come up with this table, summary of trends. For the key terms, you may have like 50 key terms. For example, only for technology, you have 50 key terms. What you need to do is, because some key terms are interrelated, so you can group them together. So that you will not repeat the same terms here in the summary. So the ones that are similar, you can already gabungkan, combine them together. So the ones that you present a summary of trends, issues and challenges for each of the STEEPV dimensions are the ones that are already finalized. Okay, so nanti these are the ones that the summary of trends, issues and challenges are the ones that you are going to use in the merging process, because you cannot use this in your questionnaire. So you have to find the interrelationship between each of the factor here, and how that interrelationship could affect whatever technology that you are studying for your PSM project. So that is the second step, where we assess the interrelationship between trends, issues, and challenges. So in order to identify the interrelationship, we need to ask what are the conflicts between the trends, issues, and challenges, and what are the interrelationship between the trends, issues, and challenges. Here again, I think you may have seen this during my training, because this is from my apa tu future foresight tools. This is okay. So this is basically the key term. These are the key terms based on the statements that we gather through STEEPV analysis for each of these STEEPV factor. Sebab kalau kita tengok statement ni, these statements are very long kan. Then we summarize it into key terms that are more manageable and more understandable and easier for us to handle. And we try to see the interrelationship between all these key terms and how they will affect, how they will impact each other, and the degree of which they will impact the future adoption ataupun implementation or development of a certain technology kan. So if you can see from this example here, this is the identify issues and challenges from different perspectives. Example here is unclear policy and institutional framework. And this unclear policy and institutional framework comes from different perspective, from social perspective, technological perspective, economic perspective, environmental perspective, and political perspective. Each of the factor here, if they exist together, they influence each other, they will result ataupun the impact is there will be unclear policy and institutional framework in the Malaysian rail industry in the future. So if the policy and institutional framework is not clear, then of course in the future we will have difficulties in making sure that the rail industry in our country can be developed successfully kan. So ini baru satu. This is only one basically main issues and challenges that we have to consider. Depending on how many key terms that you found and how many interrelationship that you managed to discover ataupun that you managed to develop from your analysis, it will determine the number of merge issues, trends and challenges that you may consider or that are relevant to your study. And this is the second difficult part. Because maybe if we look here, we have about berapa ni? 44, 50, 59 terms. So 59 terms under 6 categories, and you have to come up with maybe 6 to 10 main driver that will be investigated further, that you will use to develop your scenario ataupun future images. So you need to spend a lot of time. You need to put a lot of efforts in this, but it is not that difficult. It requires lots of effort, but it is not difficult. As long as you understand what each of these terms means and how it can affect other factors ataupun other terms, other factors related to the topic of your study. Yang penting sekali kena faham dulu. Bila you baca statement ni kan, the statement contohnya standard for charging port is not standardized. The automotive manufacturer systemized a charging system for all electric vehicles. So you have to understand what this statement means and the key term that could summarize, that could tell you what that statement is about. And when you summarize it here, you know what each one related to and what it means. Then bila you dah tahu, bila you faham, then only it is easier for you to see the interrelationship and to find this, to come up with this merge issues, trends and challenges. And merge issues, trends and challenges is what we develop is through the third step, which is where we identify the drivers for our impact uncertainty analysis. So these are basically the factors that will significantly shape or influence the future development and implications of a certain technology. These can be the key forces that underpin the important trends, issues and challenges. Something like a trend that has a potential to cause significant future change, and the drivers are also variables that has the potential to change the future in significant ways, but it's not very predictable as it is itself dependent on several factors. So kalau kita ambil examples from here, the interrelationship between all these key terms related to issues, trends and challenges, and then we come up with the main driver. So these are the driver. Kat sini ada contohnya ada 9. And if we take the examples of electric vehicle tadi yang saya dah tunjuk earlier, when we consider different keywords tadi tu, here, these are the keywords kan. These are the keywords, summary of trends, issues and challenges of EV adoption for each of the STEEPV factor. When we consider the interrelationship, then we come up with the table of drivers related to merge issues, trends and challenges. So kalau kita tengok kat sini, real-time decision driving system, innovations of driving assist, lightweight technological safety features, digital key features, connectivity. Can anybody tell me how many STEEPV factors these terms can be categorized in? Ada berapa term kat sini? Real-time decision driving system, innovations of driving assist, lightweight technological, safety feature, connectivity. Ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many STEEPV factor are here? STEEPV category. Anybody? Anybody? How many STEEPV category? STEEPV category meaning social, technological, political.
3 yeah.
3. And what are they?
Social, technology, environment.
Okay, can you tell us which one is related to social factor?
The safety feature, innovation of driving assist.
Okay, so those are related to social factor, betul? And technology?
Digital key feature, lightweight technological, real-time decision driving system.
Okay, betul. And termasuk juga innovations of driving assist tu kan. Remember one key term can be related to ataupun can be viewed from different perspective. Innovations of driving assist can be social. It can also be related to the technology used in the driving assist innovations. And what about environment?
The connectivity for EV, because EV is the eco-friendly transportation.
Betul, connectivity and maybe lightweight technological lightweight technology, because the apa tu the lighter the technology is, the more energy is used, the more apa tu resistance when they are the cars is traveling on the road kan. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here, what I'm trying to show you here, you can combine different factors from different issue, trends and challenges from different TV category to come up with the driver that are relevant for your study. These are the drivers that you actually gonna use for your apa tu, for your impact uncertainty analysis. These are the drivers that you will develop statements that you will use in your questionnaire. And these drivers are from ataupun based on the key terms that you have identified earlier during the STEEPV analysis stage, where you see, where you identify the trends, issues and challenges, and you try to make sense of the interrelationship, the relationship, how each term will impact each other, how it will affect each other, the degree of change or the degree of impact it will cause to the future of a certain technology ataupun to the other factor that you are considering. So you come up with this table of drivers ataupun table of merge, issues, trends and challenges. Selanjutnya kita akan guna perkataan ni, table of merge, issues, trends and challenges. Okay, so the same way is applied for the rest of the issues, trends and challenges. When we merge them and when we're trying to come up with the specific terms, driver, main driver, basically main driver, before we identify the most important ones, the ones that have the highest impact, the ones that have the highest uncertainty, that could cause the most uncertainties to the development, to the adoption, to the use, to the success of certain technology. So it depends on the topic that you are studying. This is another examples. This is also related to this one is okay. This one is for EV. Okay, this is EV. This one is also EV. This is also EV, but different. I think I took it from from two different studies that are related. I just want to show you here the way the student. This is a real example from PSM MIT project. Previous your seniors lah basically. This is how they combine different terms to come up with the final driver that will be included and considered in the impact uncertainty analysis. So dah habis dah? Sekejap je kan. I just want to do not really an exercise lah, but just a small discussion. Let's take for example mana. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so if you look at this article, on lab-grown meat. Let's focus on the first three paragraph. For the first paragraph, how many factors, STEEPV factors, can you see here? Cultivated meat, also known as cultured meat, is genuine animal meat, including seafood and organ meats produced by cultivating animal cells in a safe and controlled environment. The end product is nutritionally comparable to conventional meat, allowing us to feed more people with fewer resources and meet the growing global demand for protein in a more human way. How many factors can you identify from this statement, from the first paragraph? Anybody would like to try? Anyone?
Environment.
Which one?
Cultivating animal cells in a safe and controlled environment.
And how it relates to the environmental factor?
The genuine and animal meat means which is in it have not the plastic, like cannot recycle one, so it can be eco-friendly environment.
Betul, it can be eco-friendly. It can be better to the environment, because if we consider the way lab-grown meat is produced, is cultivated with the traditional way of animal agriculture lah basically kan. If we see cows on a certain ladang, for example, they are red within their apa tu, the kandang, the area. They are free to roam about. They can poo anywhere they want. They eat grass. So in terms of the emissions, when they from the animals droppings, in terms of the emissions, because the way they eat the grass and so on. So, and if we compare to the way the lab-grown meat is produced and cultivated, lab-grown meat is actually more environmentally sustainable kan. So the first one is genuine animal meat produced by cultivating animal cells in a safe and controlled environment, can be viewed from the environmental point of view. But the same statement can be also viewed from different STEEPV factor as well. And can anybody apa tu, tell me ataupun has an opinion from which point of view?
Maybe technological,
Betul, technological?
because it relates to the biotechnology or food technology something.
Biotechnology and food technology, because the meat is cultured in basically in a petri dish kan. Petri dish. Lepas tu ada dekat dalam lab, ada equipment dan sebagainya, so it needs a certain technological assistance kan for the meat to be cultured. And what else? From which other point of view can we relate this statement to? Anybody?
Doctor, probably economic.
Economy, okay. Why?
Because the market of the conventional meat, they are probably going to be compared to the cultivated meat, when cultivated meat is better than the traditional one, the market will like disrupt or something.
Betul? Because there will be market. There will be a market, basically consumers who are maybe more interested to eat lab-grown meat compared to the conventional ataupun traditional meat because of the concerns. Maybe they are socially ataupun environmentally more concerned ataupun conscious. So there are markets. So then even from the economic point of view, we can see in terms of the cost of the technology itself to make sure that the cells cultivation is safe. In a controlled environment, requires a certain investment, a certain level of investment for technology that could guarantee that the meat is safely produced or cultivated. So here, you can take the whole sentence here, cultivated meat, also known as cultured meat, is genuine ataupun yang ambil je, genuine animal meat produced by cultivating animal cells in a safe and controlled environment, and put it in 4 different ataupun different STEEPV categories for your PSM project. The only thing that is really important is you have to know why you consider this statement can be under each of the category. Why? The reason behind. Because that reasons or that justification will be the ones that you have to consider when you want to see the interrelationship between the other statements or the other issues, trends and challenges in the same category ataupun in different STEEPV category. It's not a problem to use the same statement in different STEEPV category. The only thing that you have to know, the only thing that you have to be aware of ataupun that you should be careful of is that you must know why they are relevant for that category. Macam tadilah yang when I ask you kenapa dia social, kenapa dia environment, kenapa economy, kan? Kenapa dia social, safety of the lab-grown meat, kan? So it relates to the social factor. So itu baru one statement, and as you read through the articles, the maybe 20, 30, 50 articles, it can be this is actually an article published by the Good Meat Company. So it is an article from an industry player. There are also articles from policy makers, from the governments that regulate the lab-grown meat industry. There are also research articles. You can also refer to YouTube videos. So when you use YouTube videos, you have to in the reference list, you need to tell us at the timestamp for when that statement is the statement that you refer to is mentioned in the video. So you kena tahu lah macam mana nak cite videos. But video can be used for STEEPV analysis. It's not just an article. You can use tweet. You can use apa lagi social media, short videos dan sebagainya, as long as that information comes from reliable sources. Contohnya researchers, industry players, government agencies, policy makers dan sebagainya. Not orang biasa-biasa tak boleh lah. Tapi kalau orang tu adalah pakar dalam bidang tu, then you can quote, you can use his or her tweet in your STEEPV analysis. Kenapa Foresight Project can use this type of media for STEEPV analysis is because we usually study topic that where the research articles are not that many yet. We are studying future technology where our understanding about that technology maybe is not fully developed. So we refer to these opinion pieces, we refer to news article, videos dan sebagainya daripada reliable sources as a reference for our study. So ini baru satu. Then as you read throughout the article, you will find maybe dalam ni pun dah ada 20 or 25 factors. And as you read more articles, you will eventually find factors that are similar to the other papers that you have found earlier. So that's why I mentioned earlier how to determine whether a certain issues, trends or challenges are important, are relevant ataupun irrelevant to your study is to see how many times they are cited, how many times they are mentioned, how many times they are quoted in an article. So makin banyak sesuatu isu ataupun sesuatu trend ataupun sesuatu challenges tu di mentioned dalam article, then it means the more important, the more relevant that factor is to the study. You can only do that, you can only determine that if you do the apa tadi yang saya tunjuk lah, and the list of issues, trends and challenges, the key terms. The first step in STEEPV analysis to when you just try to make sense ataupun try to understand what is currently happening within the internal dan juga external environment. I will show you another article. Sometimes you will see ataupun you will find articles yang macam ni. It is actually a report, can be a policy document that was written ataupun that was published on the future of mobility 5.0, basically transportation 5.0, the future of our transportation. So dalam report ni pun dah ada let me show you. Of course, you can read through all the words, statements and sentences, but sometimes they will give you these game changers for more virtuous mobility. So these are already very helpful to your own STEEPV analysis, because for each of these maybe mobility visions and policies, basically some suggestions of what the future trends could occur in the future. These are already the ones that you can adopt ataupun you can use for your own study. So kalau you jumpa macam ni, senang lah, you can just basically terus ambil and then determine in which STEEPV category that they can fall in. Pertama, combine framing and enabling measures for system level mobility management. Local and regional authorities need to move beyond their foundational activities. So these are related to political factor, policy, regulatory framework, institutional factor related to mobility 5.0 ataupun transportation 5.0. Regulatory framework, keyword. These are the keywords that are important for a certain topic, for your topic. A multi-stakeholder approach. So these are the key terms that you want to find, and kalau you dapat report yang macam ni, it will make your life a bit easier, because you don't really have to read. You have to read, but this is very helpful for your own study, because you can just take from the summary the key 10 game changes, basically the future, the factors that could affect, the trends that could affect the future of mobility 5.0. And okay, this is basically already very good for STEEPV ataupun for site study. The evolutions of mobility patterns, trends and development. So these are basically the things that you have to look out for when you do the STEEPV analysis, these are the trends in terms of whatever topic that you studying. Maybe urbanization is important related to the topic, and digitalization, individualization, accessibility, behavioral trends related to the social factor, values, for example, shared economy, green and healthy, changing lifestyle. So these are the keywords that you have to look out for, that you have to, kalau you can find from the articles that you read, it will be very helpful and it will be very good for your own STEEPV analysis, for your own merge issues, trends and challenges to maintain, because they are already presented here to you in the most easily identifiable way. So cuba cari artikel, tak semestinya research article. You can look at industry reports, government reports, policy documents, YouTube videos, opinion pieces from consultants, industry players ataupun experts in the field. Those are the people that you could refer to, ataupun sources of information, the media that you could refer to for your own STEEPV analysis. Okay. Okay, so far ada soalan tak? Okay, so I'm going to show you one final example. This is an example of drivers related to merge issues, trends and challenges for consumer acceptance of lab-grown meat. These are the key terms of issues, trends and challenges. So key terms tadi lah yang saya tunjuk, yang saya tunjuk pada you all, yang summary of key terms. So yang ada the 6 columns with all the list of key terms from social, technological and so on. And all the key terms here that are combined, that are merged together to come up with this driver is from the social and technological STEEPV category. The key terms here ada berapa? Ada banyak, mungkin more than 10. And the driver that could summarize all of the key terms is better and safer product for lab-grown meat. But bila kita buat questionnaire for to identify the level of impact, the level of uncertainty, we usually do not put better and safer product. We write self-explanatory statement that could help the respondent understand what you mean by better and safer product. So you can, the statement can, depends on you and your discussions with your supervisor, how you want to make the statement easily understood by the respondents. But the example that I give you here, here for better and safer product, ability of lab-grown meat to reduce diseases compared to conventional meat. And that statement should reflect the key terms that you use here to come up with the driver. So these are basically, the driver basically summarize all the key terms of issues, trends and challenges for the first driver. And the same applies for the second one. Global demand of meat is based on global meat consumption, support the high demand of meat, eating habits are shifting to natural products, predicted future trends and so on, sampailah seafood hunger. And if we put global demand of meat properly in a statement, we can say that the ability of lab-grown meat to fulfill demand for meat in the future. Okay, so it depends on the way you want to make the driver, what is the meaning behind each of the driver. You can discuss the best way to develop the statement and to describe the statement with your supervisor. Nanti supervisor you akan tolong lah. Okay, so kalau you tengok kat sini, no statements, no key driver is only based on one STEEPV category. Usually kita akan combine 2 or 3 or more STEEPV categories to come up with the driver that we will consider, that we will use for our questionnaire for impact and uncertainty analysis. So this is an example. So far boleh follow tak?
Boleh, doktor.
Boleh, doktor.
Okay, good. So basically, say go balik ke slide tadi. The first table that you must have is the list of issues, trends and challenges for specific STEEPV factor, and in this case is social factor. So kena ada statements, all the statements. Individuals with younger males, higher study, small children experience electric vehicles have more potential to adopt electric vehicles. So the key term here that could summarize the statement is demographic influence. So siapa yang cakap? Chen. Statement yang kedua, social media influencers play an important role in adopting electric vehicles to make consumers interested in EV, blah, blah, blah. So this can be considered as a social media influencers to potential users of electric vehicles. Siapa yang cakap? Razikovi. And the same applies to the rest of the statements. The most important thing, kita nak tahu that statement. Kita nak tahu statement apa, the key term ataupun the key term that could summarize the statement, so that we can easily see what the statement is about. And siapa yang cakap? Mana source dia? Okay, dalam research tu sangat penting. And
Doktor.
Yeah.
Kalau satu isu kan, sama punya artikel boleh gunakan kalau different issue tapi sama artikel.
Boleh, tak ada masalah. Sebab dalam satu yang tadi saya tunjuk dekat you kan tadi kan, yang lab grown meat tu, baru satu sentence there are at least 3 STEEPV category from the same article, from the same statement. So if you go through all the statements, all the sentences, there are maybe 50 sentences in that short article, you could find all 8 categories of STEEPV factors are there. And one statement ataupun one sentence can be categorized under different STEEPV. So daripada satu artikel tu dah ada maybe 50 statements. So it's not a problem to have multiple statements from just one article. But you have to remember, in research, we do not rely only on one article. We have to cross-check. We have to consider other opinions as well. So the more articles that you read, the better you are at identifying the trends ataupun the trends in the discussions, meaning how which area ataupun which factor are focused more by the articles, which issues are considered very critical to the development of a certain technology, which challenges are considered important and need to be addressed as soon as possible. And trends in the technological development, trends in social development, for example, which one will affect that technology that you are studying. So the more articles that you read, the better you are at understanding ataupun at identifying all these important issues, trends and challenges, to see how it relates to each other, which ones are often mentioned by the experts ataupun by the articles. Okay, any more question? Tadi macam ada soalan. Ada soalan ke? Oh, tak ada. So the most important is to have this list table that lists all the issues, trends, and challenges for each of the STEEPV category. And then you have to have the second table is the summary of trends, issues, and challenges, the key terms. So you summarize this. And kalau sama, mungkin you will find the key terms here that are interrelated. Okay, tak ada kat sini. Nak tunjuk. Okay. So for example, if you see here this one, this battery recycling process, battery technology innovation, they are about both of these statements. Let's say you find so many key terms ataupun statements related to technological issues, trends, and challenges, and you want to make it easier for you to analyze, to see the interrelationship. So you can group the statements into categories further category, reduce the number of key terms. You can actually combine these two, the fourth and the fifth statement together, because they both are about battery technology. One is about recycling process, one is about battery innovations in terms of the power generation, its capacity, the type of medium that use chemical lithium ion kan. But they are all about battery technology. So when you decide to combine, these two statements into the key term, for example, battery technology innovation, ataupun innovations in battery technology, you must know what you mean by innovations in battery technology. So innovation in battery technology can mean innovation related to the recycling of the battery. Innovation related to the technology used in the battery. Innovation related to the capacity of the battery. So earlier I mentioned you are the one who must know what each of these key terms means, because if you understand what it means, then it will make it easy for you to explain in the STEEPV analysis, in the impact uncertainty analysis, and the future images that you will develop at the end of your PSM project, because you yourself understand. When you talk about battery innovation in battery technology, you know that it means a certain thing. It means the type of material used, the ability of the battery to be recycled, the type of the capacity of the battery power, and so on. Okay. Then tadi table yang pertama, list of statements and the key terms, and then you take the key terms and summarize it in this table. And once you have this summary table of trends, issues, and challenges of the key terms, you try to find interrelationship between all the key terms, how it relates to each other, contohnya kan. Then you come up with this merge issues, trends, and challenges. And you identify the statement ataupun driver key term that can summarize the merge issues, trends, and challenges from different STEEPV category. And this driver are the ones that you are going to use in your impact uncertainty analysis, where you will develop statements that will be presented in your questionnaire that you will distribute to your respondents. An example in a table is the one that I showed you earlier, which is this. Mana? Okay, it is stable. This is to summarize everything lah. These are the key terms from the table of summary table of issues, trends, and challenges. When you combine all the key terms, you categorize it into one main driver, and you describe the driver further. You use this. Description in your questionnaire, so that it is easier for the respondents to understand what you mean for each of the statement. They will rate how important each of the statement, the level of impact that each statement could have in the future adoption ataupun future acceptance of lab-grown meat in this case, and uncertainties that each of the statement ataupun factor driver could cause in the future development of lab-grown meat, or whatever topic that you studying in your PSM project. Okay, so any questions? Because I think we have reached the end of our sharing today. Ada question? Any question? Tak ada?
No, doctor.
Okay, so kalau tak ada, hopefully kalau tak faham, hopefully bukan tak faham semua lah. Hopefully you manage to catch some of what I'm trying to share with you. You can start to do your STEEPV analysis if you haven't started yet. If you want to understand better ataupun more, you can discuss with your supervisor, because each supervisor may have different way of helping you to understand how, and helping you to do the STEEPV analysis. But I try to share the main steps lah, basically the main steps and the main tables that you need to have in your PSM project. Ada 3 table, the list of statements tadi tu, statements together with the source of reference, and you have to identify the key terms behind each of the statement that you will summarize into summary table of issues, trends, and challenges. And based on the summary table of issues, trends, and challenges, you will come up with a merge table of merge issues, trends, and challenges for the topic that you choose for your PSM project. And the driver from the merge issues, trends, and challenges ataupun statements tu will be used for your questionnaire to understand that you can identify the level of impact, the level of uncertainty for each of the driver. Daripada impact uncertainty tu nanti you will choose 2 factors that have the highest impact and also the highest uncertainty, and you will use the 2 most ataupun the 2 key drivers with the highest impact and the highest uncertainty to develop your future images. So that is basically what the PSM project is about. Okay, so kalau tak ada any more questions, if you have nothing to share, I think we can stop the class now. Kalau ada soalan, you can always ask me ataupun ask Dr. Chandra ataupun especially ask your supervisor to help you with the STEEPV. Okay, so thank you very much everybody. Hope I managed to help you a bit for your STEEPV lah. Kalau tak faham semua, hopefully bukan tak faham semua lah, hopefully faham sikit. Kalau tak banyak, faham sikit. Okay, so thank you everybody. Have a nice day. Thank you, Dr. Chandra.
Alright, thank you, Dr. Garima. So I have recorded maybe first 15 minutes tu saya record dalam saya punya phone, yang lain tu saya record dalam laptop lah, clear lah, nanti saya akan share semua tu kepada student semua ni.
Okay, boleh.
Right. Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Garima. Hope all of you have some idea now how to do chapter 3, and anything you can ask me or Dr. Garima or Dr. Ita, something like that. Alright, thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you semua. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.